Hello everyone and welcome to the first installation in the Tamiya Formula E TC-01 online build. In this video we'll be assembling the lower suspension arms to the chassis. I know it doesn't sound like much, but it is a bit tricky. Before we get started though, let's cover the suggested tools you'll need for an effortless build. The first tools we suggest are a pair of screwdrivers, one with a large tip and one with a small tip. I'd like to thank my buddy Greg Vogel for letting me steal his Hootie one some years ago. A hobby knife with a sharp blade, a good set of needle nose pliers, curved body scissors, a body reamer for drilling out holes in the body, the included Tamiya 4-way wrench and turnbuckle wrench, the included Tamiya L wrenches. While these will work, I'll be using my dialed MIP tools instead. And finally, a set of quality calipers for measuring stuff throughout the build. We've also decided on the electronics we'll be using in this build, starting off with the Futaba BLS 551 low profile servo. To provide the go, we've opted for Hobbywing's Just Stock XR10 17.5 turn non-timing brushless system. Futaba's 7PX will handle the radio waves, and we'll be bypassing the stock wheels and tires for a full set of Gravity RC's USGT pre-mounted tires. Tamiya also sent over a few option parts to add to our build. While not necessary, these should provide some added performance to our ride. Anti-roll bars. You'll need two sets of these, one for the front and one for the rear of the car. Center drive universal prop shafts. The TC-01 accepts two of these, but only one was available at the time of this video. Aluminum rocker arms. You'll need two of these packages as well. Alrighty, time to get at it. Start by opening bag A. As with all my builds, I like to open the bags and separate all the hardware to make it easier to find during assembly. These 3mm thin lock nuts are used to capture the screws that hold the arm mounts in place. The instructions mention adding a bit of synthetic rubber, aka shoe goo or E6000, to them to help keep them in place. It's up to you, but not doing so will add another level of difficulty during assembly. Sorry about the camera view. I bumped it early on and guess I didn't get it completely lined back up. I always test the freeness of suspension balls by inserting a tool and rotating it around. Blue thread locker on metal-to-metal connections ensure parts don't come loose during operation. The suspension arms are universal, meaning they can go on either side of the car. Pay close attention that you install the droop screws correctly. where I used my own advice and used E6000 to secure the thin lock nuts in place. This is where a third hand would have been extremely helpful. The amount of times I needed to reshoot this particular part of the build, I could have had a 30-minute blooper reel. Just take your time and you'll get it figured out. And then this. I'm not sure why my GoPro went into maintenance mode, but the rest of the footage for the front lower suspension arms? Gone. Thankfully you almost saw one side connected, so you have an idea of how it goes together. And here's the manual to reiterate those steps. I turned my GoPro off to let it cool a bit, replaced the battery with a freshie, and we're back in business. Let's move on to the lower rear suspension arms. After having your building skills tested with the front lower arms, the rear should be a piece of cake. One of the differences between the front and rear builds are the locations of these set screws. Pay close attention to them as 2 are used per arm instead of 1 and in different mounting holes. Again, pay close attention to what holes you install the droop screws into. Yeah, it happened again. Corrupt SD card. We'll be replacing that right away. Thankfully, I was able to salvage one side of the rear arm install, so you have that to reference for the other side. Thanks for watching, and if this video helped you out, please give it a like, subscribe, and don't forget that bell icon to be alerted to future videos in this series.